Hello everyone, I'm Ace of Clubs Kid, and today I'm going to be doing a video on kind of the Mac versus PC stuff that's going on. Now, I've been wanting to make a Mac versus PC kind of video for a long time, but today I was at Best Buy and I heard what some of the sales associates were talking about, and I really got interested in doing this kind of video. I had some sort of solid kind of material to talk about this time. So that's really good. Now, before I get into anything else, I want to say that I am a PC. I use PCs, and for me, they fit my needs. And that's just what I use. That's what's comfortable for me. I don't dislike Macs. I don't hate them. I don't think they're awful. I don't think that every single one of them is bad. I don't think that Apple's, the worst company out there or anything like that. I think that Apple's done some really some bad things, just from from their patent wars and everything, patenting some really stupid stuff, getting really unnecessary and kind of greedy with their patenting. And I'm not really happy with them as a company, but I'm not going to let that get in the way of my what I think of them in terms of innovating and changing the markets and changing what's popular and what people like and things like that. Because I think that they do very much have a big impact on that. And just a little bit more information on that. I used to own a Mac. Actually, I still do own a Mac, but it crashed, and that's why I'm using a PC now. I decided I wanted to play more games, and I wanted just more powerful computers, so I ended up building my own PC, and that's kind of how I got to where I am. I used to do all my video editing and sort of Photoshop, and used to make all my YouTube videos through a Mac, but now I've switched over to doing this, and yeah, so I have a pretty fair amount of experience with both. So yeah. So first of all, some of the things that I heard when I was at Best Buy that really made me kind of that really made me want to make this video were I heard a couple of things. I'll just say exactly what I heard. I heard the employee talking to a woman who came over and she was looking at the Mac section. I was there with my friend, and we were also looking at the Macs. We were just kind of playing with them and everything. All the different models they have out there. And so the woman was kind of asking a few questions. She was interested in buying one, but asking a couple of things, and I could tell very much just from the way that this sales associate was talking that he was a Mac lover, who's a fanboy, really. And there's the difference. A fanboy is someone who loves the company and doesn't accept any realities that any other company could be better. They simply like what they like, and they don't really open their mind to other things. Fanboys are bad. Choosing a company like me, choosing Mac or PC is fine, and that goes either way. If you like Macs, that's fine. That's your right to believe that. But if you go so far as to not believe or kind of shut out any possibility of another company being better, that's bad. So anyways, just a short thing there. So this guy kept on talking to this woman, and he was saying things like, oh, people don't like Macs of other ones that never tried them, and he said something about, a Mac will never crash on you, it'll last you, forever, it'll last, it'll just last a long time, just something along that line. I wasn't listening to the entire conversation with every single detail, but I was picking out little things that he was saying, going, that's not right. He also said that Macs, on a Mac, you can open up every single program at the same time and have it all running, and it won't be an issue, but you could never do that on a PC, because then it would just crash. I have a lot of words about all the things that he said, but a couple of the things, first of all, the thing about opening everything up and having it crash, and having a PC crash, that's a really, really broad, incorrect statement. First of all, PCs, the really big difference between Macs and PCs are when you buy an Apple computer, a Mac, you're buying a computer that has already been, there's only a few models. There's the iMacs, which are desktops, there's the MacBook Pros, which are their most powerful laptops, there's the MacBook Airs, which are their thinnest laptops. And that's really what they have going for them computer-wise. There's also the Power Mac, which is supposed to be the most powerful desktop. But really, that's what you have. you have only a couple different options within those, and you can kind of upgrade, but for the most part, you're pretty locked into what Apple has kind of put together. And because of that, everything they have is pretty decent quality. They don't really have anything that's a bad computer, or I mean, but that comes with the price. They're $1,000 computers, so they shouldn't be bad. But they're pretty decent for really just doing most things. You're not going to really do a ton of Photoshop or a ton of like really heavy editing or anything like that on most of them, but they can run most programs that the common person's going to throw at them, which is why they're nice. You kind of takes all the guesswork out of finding a computer. However, PCs, you can find them on pretty much any budget. You can buy a you can buy a Chromebook, which is I think they start around $130, and they go around up to $150, maybe $200 for the higher end ones. Those are made by Samsung and a couple of other companies. I believe Asus also makes one. But so yeah, you can get that cheap of a computer. Is it as good as a Mac? Of course not. No, it does basic things. You can surf the internet with it. You can have your files. You can have all things Google. Check your email, just really basic stuff. That's what it's meant to do. You can pay, maybe another $200 or $300, or just $200 or $300. You can get a basic laptop. You can pay, $400 or $500 to get a laptop. And that's kind of the thing about PC. You can hunt around, and whatever your needs are, you can find a computer that'll meet that power. There are PCs that cost thousands of dollars, and of course they're more powerful than a Mac because they cost far more, and they don't have just the glowing Apple logo and that sort of ease of use and everything that is Apple that surrounds it. You get a lot more what you pay for with a PC. That's also a pretty fair statement. It's not really biased. Just to get into that shortly, a couple of things I want to talk about is, for anyone who might say that, PCs are overpriced and Macs are, much more fair priced and, PCs crash, whatever. Well, first of all, just from a completely practical standpoint, let's just look at it this way. Apple's a huge company. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. They're huge. Not everyone, but most people love them. A lot of people are at least curious when a new product comes out. I know I'm curious. I was interested when the iPhone 5 came out. I was interested when iOS 7 came out. And I'm interested with the Power Mac that they're building, which is supposed to be the most powerful system they've ever built. It's meant to be, Anyways, point is, it's interesting when they release something because there's always a reason behind it. There's a target audience. There's a very, they don't just kind of toss things around. They're very decisive in what they do. So I think a lot of people like them because of that. But point is, they know what people want, and they also know how much people are willing to pay for them. And given that, being that there's a lot of smart businessmen that work there, not that, Microsoft doesn't have a lot of smart businessmen that work there, just common sense, they're going to charge a price that they know people will pay. And because of that, they do, Apple products do tend to cost more than, say, Android or PC or Microsoft or other products or, whatever company is making your computer. And that's not really wrong. It's just sort of a basic business sense. If someone's going to pay $1,000 for a computer that's worth $800, you're going to charge $1,000 for it. What goes along with that also is just the way that they present their computers, and other, like I said, this kind of goes for most of their products. Everything that they have now, with the exception of not entirely including the iPhone 5, because it's a little bit different, is made of unibody aluminum, which is a really, really nice look. It's really solid looking. It's beautiful. It's very, I can't even describe it. It looks good, is really all that needs to be said about it. It's sturdy, and it just feels good in your hand. And that's a really smart thing for them to do. It's a very, very sturdy material to use, but it also comes with a price. Being that is such an expensive material, it also means that the computer being the price it is going to be not as good as other computers in that price range because they're focusing so much on the casing, and also other things like they're trying to promote the Retina display, which is coming out on all the devices now, on all their computers, and I'm just going to say devices from this point on. But my point is that these are things that you see. These are things that you can literally see on the device. You know, you can see the illuminated keyboard, you can see the smooth trackpad, you can see the black edges around the screen, you can see the glowing Apple logo, you can see the unibody design. And, you know, once again, them being a smart businessmen, that looks like a really nice computer that you pay a lot of money for. So, I would say, with that argument, yes, they do charge more than their computers are worth. Not faulting for them at all, but that is just kind of a fact. Yeah. Going along with that, though, I would have to say that are Macs bad? I would say that, and this is just aside from Apple, I'm talking just solely about their computers now. Are Macs bad? No. I think Macs are targeted at people who don't really know a lot about computers, who don't really want to put a lot of guesswork or a lot of effort into finding the right computer. You know, you can just walk into an Apple store and, you know, they have your desktop, you have your all-in-one, you have your powerful computer, you have your two different kinds of laptops. It's really easy to find a computer if you're looking for Apple. You can find one in your price range, being that you have a higher price range, and there's not too much work associated with it. And you know that when you get that computer, it'll be pretty solid. You'll have your Genius bar to back it up if you ever get an issue with it. You know that nothing's going to be too difficult for you to figure out. But you don't really expect it to be that powerful or running a lot of games or really doing a lot of work. That's what PCs are more for. Or, you know, when you're doing a lot of, you know, intensive programs, you're doing that kind of stuff, and you're maybe a bit more tech savvy, or at least desiring of a more powerful computer. I think that's where each company triumphs in its respective way. You know, I think there's too many people out there that have almost gotten kind of lazy and not really wanted to do the research in, you know, finding a good computer, and kind of just defaulted to Macs. And I don't really like that. I think people should more look into, you know, what's my price range, what are my needs, you know, what am I going to be doing, and then they'll be happier with the computers that they pick out in the end. But that's just me. I think that it's really hard to argue with a company that's doing such a great job in terms of just giving people what they want. That's what people want. People dreamed about with things like something like Apple, where, you know, finding a good computer with good support and everything just was so simple. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Mac and PC controversy. I really don't think that you can put down either company too much from a computer standpoint. Apple's done some stupid things. Windows, God knows, has done some stupid things as well. Microsoft, rather, has done some really stupid things. Windows 8 was horrible. It seems that every other operating system they release is kind of unstable and just kind of sketchy to use. That's a really big issue. There's a lot of issues with Macs, though, whereas Microsoft triumphs in backwards compatibility, you can still be running XP or Vista today and not really be having too much trouble with running things. You know, opening new files and that kind of stuff. You can still download new Steam games that are, you know, XP compatible. But if you're on Mac, if you're on a certain version of Mac, on my G5 I couldn't even upgrade to the newest version of the iOS, the newest Mac version. I believe it's Maverick, or I think, yeah, it was supposed to be called Sea Lion, but it ended up being called Maverick. So yeah, I couldn't even upgrade to that. So they both have their respective problems. They both have their respective places that they work better at. So I think that, given that, I think we can stop. I think it'd be best if people stopped being fanboys and just started choosing computers that worked best for them. So that's my thoughts on that. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.